Slowly but surely we return. Um, what's up, guys? It's been a long time. A few things have happened. Let me turn my mic volume up. Sorry, I don't know if you'll hear a crackle when I do that, but yeah, it's been a not really a long time, but I've just been backsliding on the habits that I built for myself. So I'm trying to bring them in, I guess slowly, which probably isn't good at all. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. My phone's on the charger. Let me see if I'll grab it real quick. 1 second. I'm at 64, so I can hold it real quick. I try to get it to like between 80 and 100% before I go into work. Let's see if there's anything here that's like. There's a lot. I just checked May 5th. I don't know if I did a podcast on May 5th. Probably not. I don't think I've done one this whole month yet. Which, happy May, everybody. You here. Wrote some stuff down on the 10th. God, there's a lot I could dig into there. I might save that for therapy, though. There's a lot here. I guess I could talk about those habits I was just talking about. Why haven't I been doing them? You know what? I had wrote something the other day. Actually, I do want to before I answer that question, because I will try to. No, it's got to be on the 10th. I said I'm better at asking questions than really answering them. I feel like that's like the really difficult part about shadow work sometimes, or any form of self-reflection. I don't know if all shadow work is self-reflection. Shadow work's trying to dig into like this deeper part of yourself. Self-reflection maybe just can be like correcting or looking at why you do something. It doesn't have to always go deep or into the shadow or into the unconscious. But I'm so good at asking questions. I think everyone is really, but like, why do I do this? Like, why haven't I been doing my habits? Why haven't I been cleaning my room? Why haven't I been managing my money right? Why haven't I been having these conversations with you guys? Sometimes those questions are easier to ask than answer, or maybe there's just a resistance in wanting to answer them. I think I have this desire to want to seem sorry, I was checking the text from my mother. But yeah, this is like one of those times where I'm like self-reflecting. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Basically, there's probably a resistance to why I don't want to answer the questions, or maybe I just really lack the introspection to sit down and think about it. I've been noticing a lot of the ways that I think about things is through my feelings. Like there was a thing the other day where I was like, dude, maybe like I'm struggling with my faith in God, and I don't like I was really genuinely questioning my faith. I talk to my boys about it, and they're like, we really do think you believe. You just like because you desire everyone around you to believe. I don't know if that was saying that's a basis, but I think it's a true thing. But sometimes because I think I feel out of touch with God, that I'm like not that like because I feel out of touch, therefore it mustn't be there. And that's not how thoughts work all the time. And so sometimes I need to remember like my emotions and my feelings are great and grand, and they're me to some extent. They're how Shane feels is an indicator of who Shane is. But they're not totality of anything. And to get back to the habits of this, it's like when I say I'm better at asking questions sometimes asking questions and answering them, is like the resistance to answer is probably maybe a feeling thing or an intuitive thing, or maybe I do just lack the introspection. I don't know, which is fine too. I think I'm just learning to be fine with things. I call off because I don't want to go to work. Not wanting to go to work is fine. Doesn't mean you call off. I don't want to do my habits. It's fine. But I do these things. Like I did something really immoral that I'm still not ready to talk about recently. Out of to fulfill a need. I'm learning. It's fill a need, a want really, not a need. But desires and feelings are never good indicators of godliness. That's probably a good thing. um I feel like when a person's truly in their purpose, um it's perceived as, or the not the euphoric feeling, but godliness is present, or some sort of inner peace or humility is like there. um but just because I walk away and I feel like it's not there, it doesn't mean that like feeling like it's not there versus recognizing that the love of grace and God is always on you is different. um and we can know things and not feel them. Like that's a I've been talking to this girl recently, and I'm already like kind of hesitant about everything because there's a lot of things. I'm just learning I might just not be a person who can date right now, even though I really really want to. But in talking to her, I'm learning like there are things I want that I just know aren't good for me. I feel like I say a lot of the same stuff in all these podcasts, but surrender and giving it all up to God. And I used to like I used to view contentness, being content, as something to be chased. Right? So like you learn enough to the point where you're content. And then I remember villainizing that view, or consciously villainizing it and subconsciously or unconsciously like still having it, like just lying to myself about it. But like I'd be like, I'd villainize the view because it's like, if I ever content in my faith, or if I ever get content in this, then it won't grow. But I think the good thing to be content is that the word? I don't even know if I'm using that word right. Is just where I'm at. Right? Not that it has to be like, this is where I'm at and I will never grow out of it. But just like learning to love this part of Shane. Like there's nothing Shane has to do to get more love. There's nothing Shane has to do to love him so much. My buddy told me one time, I was like, I feel like you're gonna view me as lesser or a failure, and I don't like that. And he was like, our friendship is not content on your success. And he really said something of value there to me. And in the moment, I didn't realize it because I'm like, but I don't want you to view me as a failure because I value your view of me. But, and in it of itself, that is a fail. But, yeah, like I just need to learn to be contentness and growth are not at odds. Content meaning that you won't grow is at odds, I think. Content being like, this is the only person I can be, the only person I will love if I am, versus like, bro, whether you know this or not, you deserve the love. I think it's like the better thing. It's like who you are right now is deserving of it. And yeah, that's like something I've been thinking about, or some things I've been thinking about. My mom just texted me about some finance stuff. I've been doing really bad with financial situations. I keep putting myself in terrible ruts trying to solve them. But how much healthier it is to be open and transparent with the person who wants to help you. I've noticed this about relationships a lot too. It's like in dating, people think they have to give their partner what they want versus like their honesty. I was talking to another friend, a few friends last night, or one friend, and really so much other people came in this conversation, about like monogamy and polygamy. And I was like, there's such a beauty in sacrifice. Like in monogamy, the idea of saying like, and then my buddy, he had said, before I get there, he was like, well, what if you have this one person who feels this need, and this one person feels this need, and this one person feels this need? He's like, I just think it's selfish to hold one person to yourself because you want one person. He's like, you can have a person over here that feels this need. And I'm like, doesn't that sound equally as selfish too? And to me, I think that's like the beauty in committing to the depth of like one person to some degree, is there is beauty in sacrifice. That person doesn't have to meet every single one of my needs. I don't love that person. I shouldn't love that person just because of what they do for me. Yes, they make me feel a certain way, and that makes me want to go deeper with you and I love that feeling, and I don't want to lose that feeling. But like, I love you. I should love you because of who you are. Like when I think about my exes and why I love them, it was truly because of who, I would hope in most cases, because of who they are. I think a lot of those cases is more the way they make me feel versus who they are. But I do think I love those people because of who they are. Like, my last girlfriend is a situation I've beat myself over the head about a lot, because I just like I totally ended that poorly, and she knows. I've talked to her about it a few times, and she's in a new happy relationship right now. And I'm genuinely happy for her. Um, but like, I ended up by saying I had fallen out of love, and really I just fallen out of like infatuation. It wasn't falling out of love, because like when I look back at that person, I'm like, oh, this feeling that I had towards you was so real. It was. I know it was. And even if it wasn't real to anyone else, it was real to me. Uh, Even saying that, I wonder if that means it holds value to me or meaning to me. But is that real? To me, that's what reality is. Reality is meaning. Everything possesses some meaning. But then I think of like Friedrich Nietzsche, talking about how like the de-beautification of the world is like not a bad thing, but we have to like continuously hold our sense of beauty, because but I think about that and I'm like, what if the world just is possesses beauty? What if it's not my subjective interpretation or projection onto the world of what is beauty? What if it just is beautiful? What if my psyche is perceiving something that is just true? And true doesn't have to mean necessarily objective, but just like it is. I know that sounds convoluted, but it makes sense to me. I heard about there's this atheist YouTuber I've been watching recently named Unsolicited Advice, and he did something on The Dream of the Something Man, I can't remember, by Dostoevsky, and he has this really interesting interpretation of it, and like the beautiful part about that story is like this pursuit, and I'm getting into philosophy again right now, and I honestly kind of need to stop it, because philosophy and the beauty of worldviews versus the beauty of the internal person that I'm struggling to be are like those, like psychology should take precedence, or I don't know if it should take precedence over philosophy. I think those two worlds need to work together. I feel like I've lived amongst people who say they are opposed, and philosophy is of more value than psychology, or psychology is of more value than philosophy. And I'm like, nah, dude, these things are the most paired thing in the world. How I view myself internally, it's circular reason, but in the most beautiful cycle I've ever seen. Of like, I view myself of value because of God, who is an outward worldview philosophy of me that now helps me view myself internally and says that I deserve purpose, so it engages more with my outward view. So it's like God says you're of value. I perceive I'm of value now. So I like will So now I will engage with this outward world through this space of knowing I'm valuable. That's this beautiful cycle. None takes precedence over the other. They are working simultaneously along each other. There's a great video by the YouTuber What Do You Meme. I'm like just rambling right now. I'm not even finishing thoughts. Real quick, the atheist YouTuber thing. Real quick, I'll say that the atheist YouTuber guy, Unsolicited Advice. Check him out. He has a video on Dostoevsky's The Dream of the Something Man. I can't remember, but it's about this guy who has a dream, and the dude's interpretation of the dream is really, really interesting. Basically, about like the man's like whole calling now is like to right his conscience, and like even in a sense of hopelessness, it is better to have hope, and it's more honorable to have hope, and fight for the hope or the paradise, even if you know it's unachievable. That is the most honorable position a person can be in. And I'm like, to me, that's really, really like meaningful, because in a space where I don't want to do anything, it is better to do something. In a space where I don't want to do these podcasts sometimes because I'm tired and I'm just like, I just rather lay in bed and talk to my friends, like it's more honorable for me to do this because it's better for myself, I know, in the long run. And then back to the other thing is, What Do You Meme? He's a YouTuber, he's a Christian YouTuber, and he has this video about how Christianity should breed authenticity. And I think in a lot of cases it doesn't because of culture. I think I've probably talked about that in the podcast before too. But yeah, sorry, quick ramble. But basically all to say, like, dude, I keep trying to answer the question, who am I? And I'm like, bro, I'm just kind of me. And I like this. Like I was saying the other day to my therapist, and I told this to my friends before, like I was talking about getting on medication. I heard it changes the way you feel. And I'm like, I like the way I feel because it's related to me. But But like beyond the feelings and stuff like that, like I'm just like that. There's a recognition of who I am in that. That's like I want to preserve. And I'm like, bro, no matter who you are, you just gonna be cool. Just love yourself. It's lit. Life is lit. Life is great. God is good. Um, yeah, yeah. I guess that's how I'm finishing it. Appreciate it, guys.